The morning alarm buzzed through the United Earth Defense Command building in Geneva. Admiral Hyun-woo Park walked into his office with a cup of coffee, ready for another normal day. He had no idea that in 10 minutes, everything would change. His communication officer, Lieutenant So-young Kim, rushed into his office. Her face was pale and her hands shook as she held a data tablet. "Sir, we have received a priority message through the Quantum Communication Network," she said. "It's from the Galactic Council." Hyun-woo raised an eyebrow. The Galactic Council rarely spoke directly to Earth. Most communication went through their local representatives on the trade stations. "What do they want?" he asked. So-young placed the tablet on his desk. "You need to read this yourself, sir." Hyun-woo picked up the tablet and began reading. His coffee grew cold as he read the message 3 times to make sure he understood correctly. The message was simple and clear. The Galactic Council demanded that humanity surrender completely within 30 galactic standard days. All human military forces must disband. All human colonies must be abandoned. The entire human population would be moved to 3 small worlds, chosen by the Council. The message listed humanity's crimes. They said humans expanded too fast through space. They said human military technology was growing too quickly. Most importantly, they said humans were dangerously unpredictable and could not be trusted with freedom. The message was signed by Ambassador Krixtal of the Velthari Empire, speaking for the 12 major species of the Galactic Council. "Sir?" So-young asked. "What should we do?" Hyun-woo set down the tablet and looked out his window at the peaceful Swiss mountains. Then he did something unexpected. He started laughing. "Sir?" So-young looked worried. "Get me President Lee on the emergency line," Hyun-woo said, still chuckling, "and call an immediate meeting of all department heads. This is going to be interesting." 20 minutes later, the emergency conference room was full. President Dong-hyun Lee appeared on the main screen from his office in Seoul. Around the table sat the most important people in Earth's defense network. Captain So-young Kim sat next to her intelligence team. Director Yoon-ji Choi from Strategic Operations had brought several thick files marked with high-security stamps. General Min-ho Kang from the Space Force looked serious, but not worried. Dr. Yoo-jin Han from the Science Division seemed almost excited. "Ladies and gentlemen," President Lee began from the screen, "I assume you have all read the Council's message. Admiral Park, please give us your first assessment." Hyun-woo stood up. "Mr. President, the Galactic Council has made a serious mistake. They think we are weak and helpless. They believe their technology is far better than ours. They think we will surrender without a fight." "And will we?" asked the President. "No, sir. Absolutely not." Director Yoon-ji Choi opened one of her files. "Mr. President, I think it's time to activate Project Laughing Matter." Several people around the table smiled. President Lee nodded slowly. "Director Choi, please explain Project Laughing Matter for those who don't know about it." Yoon-ji stood and walked to the large display screen. She pressed several buttons and a star map appeared showing human space. But this map was different from any public map. It showed 3 times as many human settlements. It showed massive shipyards hidden in asteroid belts. It showed weapons platforms that officially did not exist. "For the last 80 years, Yoon-ji explained, humanity has been playing a very careful game. We let the galaxy see only what we wanted them to see. We showed them old ships with simple weapons. We showed them small colonies with basic technology. We acted like children playing with toys." Dr. Yoo-jin Han joined her at the screen. "Meanwhile, our real research continued in secret. We studied every piece of alien technology we could find. We improved on their designs. We created new technologies they never imagined." General Min-ho Kang added, "Our public fleet has 200 ships using kinetic weapons and basic shields. Our real fleet has over 2,000 ships using technology the Council has never seen." President Lee leaned forward on the screen. "How long have we been preparing for this moment?" "Since first contact," Yoon-ji replied. "We knew this day would come. The galaxy doesn't like species that grow too fast or think too differently. We prepared for the day they would try to stop us." Captain So-young. Kim looked at the display showing Earth's real military strength. "Sir, why did we hide all this? Why didn't we just show them we were strong from the beginning?" Admiral Hyun-woo answered. "Because, Captain, the galaxy fears strength. If they had known how powerful we really were, they would have attacked us years ago with everything they..." Had. Instead, we let them think we were weak while we grew stronger. The Council's intelligence reports show they believe we have 47 star systems, Dr. Eugene said. We actually control 132 systems. They think we have primitive technology. Our technology is now more advanced than most Council species. They think we are alone, General Minho added. But we have been making secret alliances with non-Council species for decades. Many alien groups are tired of Council control. President Lee smiled on the screen. So, Admiral Park, what is Earth's official response to the Council's demand? Hyunwoo walked over to the communication console. Mr. President, I believe our response should be simple and direct. He opened a channel to send a message back to Biala, the Galactic Council. The entire room watched as he composed Earth's reply. To Ambassador Krikstal and the Galactic Council, he spoke into the recorder. We have received your ultimatum demanding our surrender. After careful consideration, Earth's official response is as follows. We respectfully decline your demand. We will not surrender our colonies. We will not disband our military. We will not relocate our population. He paused and looked around the room. Everyone was smiling now. Furthermore, he continued, we suggest you reconsider your position. Humanity has been peaceful neighbors for over a century. We have followed all galactic trade laws. We have never attacked any council member. If you choose to make us your enemy, you may find us more difficult to defeat than your intelligence reports suggest. He stopped the recording and looked at President Lee. Should I send it, sir? Send it, Admiral, and add one more line. What's that, Mr. President? President Lee's smile became wider. Tell them to bring more ships. Hyunwoo added the final line to the message and transmitted it to the Galactic Council. Across the galaxy, the most powerful alien civilization would soon receive Earth's response. They expected begging or immediate surrender. Instead, they would get the first hint that they had made a terrible mistake. As the meeting ended, Director Yoonji Choi began issuing orders to hidden bases throughout human space. Admiral Hyunwoo contacted fleet commanders who had been waiting for this day for decades. Dr. Yoojin Han started the final preparations for weapons systems the galaxy had never seen. Earth had received an ultimatum from the most powerful force in the galaxy. Earth had chuckled and said no. Now the real game would begin. Commander Velnox stood on the bridge of the Velthari Imperial flagship Eternal Glory. The massive ship was one of the largest vessels in the galaxy, stretching over 2 kilometers from front to back. Its weapons could destroy entire cities with a single shot. Velnox looked at the message from Earth on his display screen. He read it twice, then called his senior officers to the bridge. Officers, gather around, he announced. We have received humanity's response to our ultimatum. Intelligence Officer Zephyra arrived first. She was an expert on primitive species and had studied humans for many years. Behind her came Weapons Master Keltar and Fleet Coordinator Mordun. What did the humans say? Asked Zephyra. Velnox showed them the message. They declined our generous offer to relocate them peacefully. They refused to surrender. The officers looked at each other and began laughing. Keltar laughed so hard he had to sit down. Commander, Keltar said, wiping tears from his eyes, do they understand what they are facing? Our fleet has 847 ships. Their entire military has less than 200 vessels. They must be suffering from species. Madness, suggested Zephyra. Some primitive species lose their ability to think clearly when faced with superior civilizations. Morden pulled up a display showing the comparison between Galactic Council forces and human forces. The difference was enormous. Council ships were larger, faster, and had better weapons. Council technology was thousands of years more advanced. Perhaps we should study human psychology, Morden suggested. How can an entire species become delusional at the same time? Velnox walked to the large viewing window that showed the endless stars. Behind him, hundreds of council ships prepared for the journey to human space. Intelligence Officer Zephyra, he said, show me everything we know about human military capability. Zephyra activated the main display screen. Numbers and images filled the room. Humans control 47 star systems, she began. Their largest colonies have populations under 50 million. Most human settlements are small mining operations or farming communities. What about their technology? Asked Velnox. Very primitive. They still use kinetic weapons that fire metal projectiles. Their ships are powered by fusion reactors instead of quantum cores. Their fastest ships can barely reach 90% of light speed. Keltar shook his head. Kinetic weapons? Do they still think they live in the ancient past? Our shields can stop kinetic weapons easily. Their ship design is also very basic, Zephyra continued. Thick metal hulls instead of energy barriers. Simple computer systems instead of AI networks. They don't even have proper artificial gravity on most of their ships. Velnox studied the images of human ships. They looked rough and simple compared to the smooth, elegant designs of council vessels. How do they even travel between stars with such primitive technology? He wondered. Very slowly, Mordun replied. Their ships take weeks to travel distances our ships can cover in days. They have to carry large amounts of fuel and supplies. What? About their military tactics? Velnox asked. Zephyra brought up recordings from previous encounters with human ships. They fight in simple formations, usually straight lines or basic triangles. They seem to prefer direct attacks rather than complex strategies. No surprise there, Keltar commented. Primitive species usually lack the intelligence for advanced tactics. Meanwhile, in a hidden asteroid base in the outer regions of the Sol system, engineer Minho Kang watched as thousands of ships began emerging from their hiding places. These ships looked nothing like the vessels the galaxy had seen before. Minho stood in the command center of Construction Base 7. Through the massive viewing windows, he could see ships that had been hidden for decades finally revealing themselves. Status report, he called to his team. All shipyards are operational, replied Engineer Da-Un Huang. Fleet Group Alpha is ready for deployment. Fleet Group Beta will be ready in 6 hours. What about the new gravity drives? Minho asked. Testing. Completed successfully, said Dr. Ho Seok Kim from the research station. All ships can now move faster than any council vessel. Minho smiled. The aliens had no idea what was coming. Back on the Velthari flagship, Velnox was reviewing the final invasion plans with his staff. Our strategy is simple, he explained. We jump into the Sol system with overwhelming force. The humans will see our fleet and immediately understand their situation. Most likely they will surrender without fighting. What if they don't surrender? Asked Mordun. Then we disable their primitive ships quickly and efficiently, Keltar answered. With our superior technology, the battle should last less than 1 hour. Zephyra brought up tactical projections on the main screen. Our computer models show a 98% chance of human surrender once they see our fleet. If they do fight, we will achieve complete victory within 30 minutes. Excellent, Velnox said. Signal the fleet. We depart for human space in 12 hours. As the meeting ended, Velnox remained on the bridge looking at the stars. He felt slightly sorry for humanity. They seemed like a young species that simply didn't understand how the galaxy worked yet. In 30 days, the Council fleet would arrive at Earth. The humans would see hundreds of massive warships appearing in their system. They would realize that their tiny fleet of primitive vessels had no chance against such power. Then they would surrender, and the galaxy would return to peaceful order. On Earth, Dr. Yujin Han was making final preparations in her secret laboratory beneath the Swiss mountains. Her team had been working for decades to reverse engineer and improve alien technology. Dr. Han, called her assistant, researcher Jae Sung-yoon, the plasma cannon tests are complete. Output is 40% higher than the best council weapons. Good, Dr. Yujin replied. What about the shield generators? Ready for installation. On all ships, the new shields can absorb energy attacks and redirect the power to our own weapons. Dr. Yujin looked at the weapons that would soon surprise the galaxy. The aliens thought humans were primitive because they saw only what humans wanted them to see. Soon, the galaxy would learn that appearances could be very deceiving. Admiral Hyunwoo Park stood in his office, looking at reports from hidden bases throughout human space. Every report said the same thing, ready for battle. Captain So-Young Kim entered his office with the latest intelligence. Sir, our deep space monitors show the Council fleet is gathering. 800 ships, just as predicted. And our fleet? Hyunwoo asked. 2,100 ships ready for combat, all equipped with the new technology. Hyunwoo nodded. For 80 years, humanity had prepared for this moment. They had studied their enemies, improved their technology, and built their strength in secret. The Galactic Council believed they were facing a primitive, helpless species. They were about to learn how wrong they could be. Captain Jae Sung-yoon never talked about what happened in 2260. For 127 years, he kept the secret that changed human history forever. But now, as the Galactic Council fleet moved toward Earth, the old records were finally opened. In a secure conference room deep beneath Seoul, the truth was revealed to a select group of military leaders. Admiral Soo-jin Park, Hyun-woo's predecessor, had died 10 years earlier, but her recorded testimony played on the main screen as current. Leaders learned about humanity's real first contact with aliens. It was a routine patrol mission, Soo-jin's recorded voice explained. Captain Yoon was commanding the exploration ship New Horizon in the outer system near Pluto. We were testing our new long-range sensors. The recording showed star charts from that day in 2260. Captain Jae Sung-yoon, then only 28 years old, had detected an unknown object drifting in space. At first, we thought it was a damaged satellite, Soo-jin continued. But as we got closer, we realized it was something incredible, a ship unlike anything humans had ever built. The alien vessel was small, about the size of a human transport shuttle. But its design was clearly from another world. Smooth curves instead of angular shapes. Materials that seemed to glow with their own light. Technology that human science could barely understand. The ship was badly damaged, Soo-jin explained. Life support was failing. 3 alien beings inside were close to death. Captain Jae Sung-yoon faced the most important decision in human history. He could rescue the aliens and reveal humanity's existence to the galaxy, or he could let them die and keep Earth's location secret. He chose a third option. Yoon brought the aliens aboard his ship, Soo-jin's recording continued. Our medical team saved their lives, but instead of making contact officially, we created a different plan. The plan was brilliant and dangerous. While the aliens recovered in the medical bay, human scientists studied their ship completely. Every piece of technology was examined, copied, and analyzed. Dr. Han-Nul Lim led the research team that reverse-engineered the alien gravity drive. Professor Min-ji Park studied their computer systems. Engineer Tae-young Shin learned how their weapons worked. We spent 3 weeks learning. Everything we could, Soo-jin explained. Then we did something that changed everything. Instead of revealing themselves to the aliens, the humans created a false memory. Using advanced medical techniques, they made the aliens believe their ship had suffered a random system failure. The aliens woke up thinking they had drifted in space for weeks and barely survived. The humans repaired the alien ship using the original technology, leaving no trace of their interference. They returned the aliens to their vessel and watched them leave, believing they had never encountered another intelligent species. That day, we made a choice, Soo-jin said in her recording. We decided that humanity would remain hidden until we were strong enough to protect ourselves. The recording ended, and the room remained silent for several minutes. General Woo Jin-bae, current head of Space Command, spoke first. So our entire defense strategy is based on that one encounter? Not. Just that encounter, replied Director Yoon-ji Choi. Every alien contact since then has been carefully managed. She activated a new display showing human space over the past century. Red dots marked official alien encounters that the galaxy knew about. Blue dots marked secret encounters that only humans remembered. For every official contact, Yoon-ji explained, we have had 20 secret ones. We rescue damaged ships, study their technology, and return the crews with modified memories. Dr. Yoo-jin Han stood up and walked to the display. Each encounter taught us more about galactic technology. We learned about energy weapons from the Cathari. We discovered shield technology from the Vordan. We studied faster-than-light communication from the Zephyrians. But we didn't just copy their technology, added Professor A-Ra Moon from the Advanced Research Division. We improved it. Human scientists took alien concepts and made them better. The first breakthrough came 15 years after the initial contact. Dr. Han-Nul Lim successfully built humanity's first gravity manipulation drive. But unlike the alien version, the human design was smaller, more efficient, and twice as powerful. The aliens had been using the same basic designs for thousands of years, Professor A-Ra explained. They never thought to improve them. Humans improved everything. While aliens relied on energy shields that blocked attacks, humans developed adaptive shields that absorbed energy and redirected it as weapon power. While aliens used plasma weapons with fixed output, humans created variable output weapons that could adjust their power instantly. Most importantly, Dr. Yu-Jin added, we learned to think differently than they do. She brought up recordings of alien ship formations and battle tactics. Galactic species fight the same way they have for millennia. Rigid formations, predictable strategies. They follow rules that worked in the past. Humans, General Wu Jin said with a smile, don't follow their rules. The current day brought all that preparation to a critical moment. Throughout human space, hidden fleets revealed themselves for the first time. Commander Tae-Young Shin stood on the bridge of the battleship Seoul's Pride, watching as ships emerged from asteroid camouflage where they had waited for decades. The ship had been built in secret, using technology the galaxy had never seen. All stations report ready, announced Communication Officer Ye-Jin-Oh around them. Space filled with human vessels. Ships that looked nothing like the primitive craft the aliens expected. These ships moved with perfect coordination, their hulls gleaming with advanced materials. Signal from Earth Command, Ye-Jin reported. Operation Sleeping Giant is authorized, Tae-Young smiled. Operation Sleeping Giant was the code name for humanity's real military capability. For over a century, the galaxy had seen humanity as a sleeping giant. Large, but harmless. They were about to learn what happened when that giant woke up. On Pluto base, Admiral Byung-Ho Choi watched as the largest human fleet in history formed up for battle. 3,000 ships, all built in secret. All equipped with technology that surpassed anything in the galaxy. Admiral, reported his aide, Captain In-Ho Park, all fleet groups are in position. Sol system defenses are active. The Sol system had been transformed over the past century. What appeared to be empty space actually contained hidden weapons, platforms, sensor networks, and defensive systems that could protect Earth from any attack. The Galactic Council thinks we have 47 star systems, Admiral Byung-Ho said to his staff. They don't know we actually control 132 systems. They think we have 200 ships. They can't see our 3,000 ships. When will they realize their mistake? Asked Captain In-Ho. Soon, the Admiral replied. Very soon. As the human fleet prepared for the coming battle, a message was sent to the approaching Galactic Council forces. Communication Officer Ye-Jin. O transmitted Earth's final warning. To the Galactic Council fleet approaching our system. You have 72 hours to withdraw from human space. This is your only warning. Turn back now, or face the consequences. Thati. Message was sent using quantum communication technology that was faster than anything the Council possessed. The aliens would receive Earth's warning hours before they expected any response. In 3 days, the most powerful military force in galactic history would arrive at Earth, expecting to find a helpless, primitive civilization. Instead, they would find that humanity had been preparing for this moment for over a century. The sleeping giant was awake, and it was ready to fight. Admiral Vorthak looked out from his command ship at the most powerful fleet in galactic history, 847 vessels from 12 different species, all united to end humanity's defiance. The ships stretched across space like a metal storm, each one capable of destroying entire cities. Status report, Vorthak commanded, as his fleet approached the edge of the Sol system. All ships ready for battle, reported Fleet Coordinator Zendar. Weapons charged. Shields at maximum power. The human system appears quiet. Too quiet, muttered Intelligence Officer Kethara. Our sensors show minimal activity. Where are their ships? Vorthak studied the display screen showing the Sol system. Earth floated peacefully in its orbit, with no signs of military preparation. The major human colonies on Mars and the moon bases seemed normal. There were no defensive formations, no weapons platforms, no fleet positions. Perhaps they really did surrender, suggested Weapons Master Corvell. Maybe they realized the hopelessness of their situation. Or they're hiding, Kethara replied. But where could they hide an entire fleet in empty space? The answer came 30 minutes later. Captain Wu Jin Bei sat in the command center of the human battleship Earth's Shield, watching as alien sensors swept the Sol system. Around him, 3,000 human ships waited in dimensional phase space, invisible to normal detection methods. "Sir," reported Navigation Officer Junho Kang, "enemy fleet has crossed the system boundary. They're moving toward Earth in standard battle formation." "How many ships?" Wu Jin asked. 847, exactly as intelligence predicted. Velthari Imperial class in the lead, supported by Cathari heavy cruisers and Vordan destroyers. Wu Jin nodded. Human intelligence knew the exact composition of the Council fleet because humanity had been secretly studying these species for decades. "Signal from Fleet Admiral Siwu Choi," announced Communication Officer Dayun Huang. "Operation Sleeping Giant is authorized. All units prepare for phase transition." Wu Jin stood up and addressed his bridge crew. "Ladies and gentlemen, humanity has been hiding in the shadows for over a century. Today we step into the light. Today the galaxy learns who we really are." In space, the impossible began to happen. Admiral Vorthak stared at his sensors in confusion as ships began appearing from nothing. First 10, then 100, then 1,000. Human vessels materialized around his fleet like ghosts becoming solid. "Where did they come from?" he demanded. "Unknown, sir," Cathara replied, her voice shaking. "They're using some kind of dimensional technology we've never seen before. The human ships were nothing like the primitive vessels in Council intelligence reports. These ships moved with perfect coordination, their hulls made from materials that seemed to absorb light. Their formations flowed like living creatures instead of rigid military structures." "How many ships?" Vorthak asked. "Counting now, sir. 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, Cathara's voice trailed off. "Sir, there are over 3,000 human ships surrounding us." "Impossible," Vorthak said. "Our intelligence shows they have less than 200 vessels." "Sir," called the communication officer, "we're receiving a transmission from the human fleet." Fleet Admiral Siwu Choi appeared on the main screen of every council ship. He looked calm and confident, nothing like the primitive commander the aliens expected. "I am Fleet Admiral Siwu Choi of the United Earth Defense Force," he began. "You have entered human space without permission. You have threatened our colonies and our people. You have demanded our surrender." Siwu paused and smiled. "We decline." Vorthak opened a channel to respond. "Admiral, you are outnumbered and outgunned. Our technology is thousands of years more advanced than yours. Surrender now, and we will treat your people with mercy." Siwu's smile became wider. "Admiral Vorthak, your intelligence reports are severely outdated. You have been deceived for over a century. Allow me to demonstrate." The demonstration began with Lieutenant Junho Kang's fighter squadron. Junho piloted one of humanity's new strike fighters, a small ship that moved unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. "Lightning Squadron, show them what human engineering can do," Junho said into his radio. The human fighters moved through space like they were dancing. They spun, twisted, and turned in ways that should have been impossible. Their speed was beyond anything Council ships could match. "How are they moving like that?" Vorthak demanded. "They seem to be using localized gravity manipulation," Cathara reported. "But that technology is theoretical. No one has ever made it work." "Humans did," Junho said over the communication channel, having heard their transmission. "We made lots of things work. The real shock came when the human fighters opened fire. Instead of the primitive kinetic weapons the Council expected, the human ships used plasma cannons that cut through Council shields like they weren't there. Energy beams that adapted their frequency to match shield harmonics. Weapons that shouldn't exist according to galactic science. "Shields failing," reported the weapons master on Vorthak's ship. "Their weapons are bypassing our defenses somehow." Admiral Siwu Choi watched from his command ship as the battle began. But this wasn't really a battle. It was a demonstration of how far humanity had advanced beyond galactic technology. "Engineering report," he called to his chief engineer. "All systems optimal, sir," replied Chief Engineer A-Ra Moon. "Dimensional drives working perfectly. Adaptive. Shields are absorbing their energy weapons and redirecting power to our own systems. Weapons status? Plasma cannons operating at full efficiency. Our weapons are penetrating their shields without difficulty. They seem shocked that we can hurt them." Admiral Siwu had studied alien psychology for decades. Galactic species were used to technological superiority. They had ruled the galaxy for so long that they couldn't imagine anyone surpassing them. "Sir," reported his communication officer, The alien fleet is trying to retreat. Let some of them go, Siwu ordered. We want survivors to tell the galaxy what happened here. The battle that was supposed to last 30 minutes stretched into 3 hours, not because the humans were losing, but because they were being careful. Every human weapon was designed to disable rather than destroy when possible. Captain Wu Jin. Bei coordinated his ship's attack on a Cathari heavy cruiser. The alien ship was 3 times larger than his vessel and should have been much more powerful. Target their engines, he ordered. Disable but don't destroy. Human weapons struck with surgical precision. The alien ship's engines failed, leaving it drifting helplessly. Its weapons stopped working. Its shields collapsed. Sir, reported Junho from his fighter. The enemy ship is surrendering. Accept their surrender, Wu Jin replied. Take them prisoner and treat them well. They're going to help us send a message to the galaxy. Throughout the system, the same scene repeated. Council ships that were supposed to be invincible found themselves helpless against human technology. Weapons that had ruled the galaxy for millennia couldn't penetrate human shields. Admiral Vorthak watched his fleet fall apart around him. Ships that had never been defeated in battle were surrendering to the species they had come to conquer. Admiral, his communication officer reported, 60% of our fleet is disabled or destroyed. We must retreat. Signal the retreat, Vorthak ordered, his voice hollow with defeat. All remaining ships withdraw immediately. As the surviving council ships fled the Sol system, Admiral Saiwu Choi opened a final communication channel. Admiral Vorthak, he said, return to the Galactic Council with this message. Humanity is not the primitive species you believed us to be. We have been studying you for over a century. We know your weaknesses, your technologies, and your strategies. Vorthak listened in stunned silence. We did not start this fight, Siwu continued, but we will finish it if necessary. Go, back to your council and tell them that Earth is not conquered. Earth is free, and we intend to stay that way. The transmission ended, leaving Vorthak alone with the ruins of his fleet, and the knowledge that everything the galaxy believed about humanity was wrong. In the Sol system, 3,000 human ships regrouped around Earth. They had won the greatest military victory in human history, but everyone knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was about to learn that the age of council dominance was over. A new power had emerged among the stars, and it would not be controlled by anyone. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was unlike any meeting in their 10,000-year history. Supreme Chancellor Vordun sat at the center of the great circular chamber, while representatives from 12 major species argued in dozens of different languages. Order! Vordun called, his voice echoing through the chamber. We will have order! The arguing stopped, but the tension remained thick in the air. Admiral Vorthak stood before the council, his uniform torn and his pride shattered. Behind him, holographic displays showed the wreckage of what had been the galaxy's most powerful fleet. Admiral, Vordun said slowly, explain to us again how 800 ships were defeated by a primitive species. Vorthak took a deep breath. He had been dreading this moment since his fleet retreated from the Sol system 3 days earlier. Supreme. Chancellor, our intelligence about humanity was completely wrong. They are not primitive. Their technology is more advanced than anything we possess. Representative Kelthara of the Vordan Empire stood up. Impossible. Humans have been in space for barely 2 centuries. We have been spacefaring for over 5,000 years. I saw their ships with my own eyes, Vorthak replied. They appeared from dimensional space using technology we thought was impossible. Their weapons cut through our shields like they were made of paper. High Analyst Cathara activated the main display screen. Images of human ships filled the chamber, showing designs unlike anything the Council had ever seen. These recordings are from the battle, Cathara explained. Notice how the human ships move. They use localized gravity manipulation for propulsion. Our scientists say this is impossible, yet humans are doing it. The Council representatives studied the images in stunned silence. The human ships moved like living creatures, twisting and turning in ways that violated everything they knew about space combat. How long have they possessed this technology? Asked Representative Zarnoth of the Cathari Union. That's the disturbing part, Cathara replied. Analysis of their ship designs suggests they've had this technology for decades, possibly longer, Supreme Chancellor. Vordun leaned forward. If they have had advanced technology for so long, why did they hide it from us? Cathara brought up a new set of data on the screen. We have reviewed every human contact over the past century. In every case, they showed us only primitive technology. Simple ships, basic weapons, outdated computers. They were studying us, Vorthak said quietly. Every time we encountered human ships, they were learning about our technology while showing us nothing real about theirs. The implications struck the Council like a physical blow. For over a century, they had believed they were watching a primitive species slowly develop. Instead, that species had been watching them, learning their weaknesses, and preparing for war. How many human ships are there really? Vordun asked. Unknown, Cathara admitted. Our estimates were based on public human colonies and visible military bases. If they have been hiding their true capabilities, they could have forces we never detected. Representative Mortak of the Zephyrian Alliance spoke up. What about their colonies? How many star systems do they actually control? We're reviewing all our intelligence, Cathara replied. Early reports suggest our estimates were severely low. Humans may control twice as many systems as we believed. In the back of the chamber, a younger representative named Zelnara raised her hand. Supreme Chancellor, what if we were wrong about more than just their technology? What do you mean? What if humans aren't the only species hiding their true capabilities? What if other non-council species have been doing the same thing? The chamber fell silent. The Galactic Council had ruled for millennia based on the assumption that they possessed the most advanced technology in the galaxy. If that assumption was wrong, their entire power structure was in danger. Impossible, declared Representative Kelthara. We monitor all spacefaring species. We would know if anyone possessed advanced technology. We thought we were monitoring humans too, Vorthak pointed out. We were wrong about them. What else might we be wrong about? On Earth, Director Yonseo Lee of the Xenobiology Department was revealing humanity's greatest secret to President Jin Young Kang. In a secure conference room beneath Seoul, she presented the results of Project Archive. Mr. President, Yonseo began, for 127 years, humanity has been secretly studying every alien species we've encountered. Project Archive contains detailed information about 12 major council species and 43 minor species. President Kang looked at the massive database displayed on the screen. What kind of information? Everything. Biology, psychology, technology, military capabilities, economic systems, political structures. We know more about these species than they know about themselves. Dr. In-ho Park, head of the Alien Technology Division, joined the presentation. We've reverse-engineered and improved technology from all major council species. Our plasma weapons are based on Cathari designs, but are 40% more powerful. Our shields use Vordan principles, but are much more efficient. Most importantly, Yonseo continued, we understand their weaknesses. Galactic species have become comfortable with their superiority. They haven't faced real military challenges in thousands of years. They fight using outdated tactics and rigid formations. President Kong studied the psychological profiles of alien leaders. What about their political structure? How stable is the council? More fragile than they realize, Yonseo replied. The council rules through technological superiority and fear. If that superiority is challenged, their control could collapse quickly. She brought up a new display showing non-council species throughout the galaxy. 40% of spacefaring species are not council members. Many of them resent council control but have been too weak to resist. Until now, President Kang said with understanding. Exactly. Humanity's victory over the council fleet will inspire other species to question council authority. We could be looking at the beginning of a galactic revolution. As if summoned by their conversation, Admiral Hyunwoo Park entered the room with urgent news. Mr. President, we're receiving secret communications from 17 non-council species. They all want to establish diplomatic relations with Earth. What kind of relations? President Kang asked. Military alliances, technology exchanges, mutual defense treaties. Species that have been oppressed by the Council for centuries are suddenly very interested in friendship with humanity. Dr. In-ho Park smiled. The Council thought they were facing one rebellious species. They might actually be facing a galactic uprising. Back in the Council chamber, Supreme Chancellor Vordun was receiving similar reports. intelligence agencies throughout Council space were reporting unusual activity among non-Council species. Sir, High Analyst Cathara reported, we're detecting increased communication traffic between previously isolated species, military movements in sectors that have been quiet for decades. Several non-Council species have stopped responding to our diplomatic messages. Are they coordinating with the humans? Vordun asked. Possibly. We've detected quantum communication signatures that match human technology in at least 6 different star systems. Representative Zarnoth stood up angrily. Supreme Chancellor, we cannot allow this rebellion to spread. We must crush humanity completely and make an example of them. With what fleet? Vorthak asked bitterly. They destroyed 60% of our ships. It will take years to rebuild our forces. Then we use the reserve fleet, Zarnoth declared. Supreme. Chancellor Vorden shook his head. The reserve fleet hasn't left the home systems in 3,000 years. If we pull back our garrison forces, dozens of species might rebel simultaneously. The Council was trapped. They couldn't defeat humanity with their current forces, but mobilizing enough ships to guarantee victory would leave their own territory. Defenseless. What are our options? Vordun asked. Cathara brought up a strategic analysis. We could try diplomatic solutions. Offer humanity equal membership in the Council in exchange for peace. Never! Shouted Representative Kelthara. We don't negotiate with primitive species. They're not primitive, Vorthak reminded him. They just proved that by destroying our fleet. We could try economic warfare, suggested Representative Mortok. Cut off trade, impose sanctions, isolate them economically. That might backfire, Cathara warned. If other species see us using economic pressure against humanity, they might stop trading with us instead. Supreme Chancellor Vorden looked around the chamber at the worried faces of the galaxy's most powerful leaders. For the first time in millennia, the Galactic Council faced a crisis they couldn't solve with superior technology and overwhelming force. Admiral Vorthak, he said, finally, prepare a message to the human government. We will attempt diplomatic contact. What should the message say, sir? Vordun paused for a long moment before answering. Tell them the Council is interested in discussing a new relationship between our peoples. As the emergency session ended, representatives from 12 species left the chamber knowing that their galaxy had changed forever. The age of unchallenged Council authority was over. In the Sol system, humanity prepared for whatever came next, confident that they had the strength to defend their freedom and the wisdom to help other species find theirs. 1 year after the Battle of Sol, President Jin Young Kong stood before the newly constructed Earth Federation Assembly. Representatives from 47 different species filled the Great Hall, creating a sight that would have been impossible just months earlier. Ladies, gentlemen, and honored beings of all species, President Kang began. Today we celebrate not just humanity's independence, but the beginning of a new age of cooperation among the stars. In the front row sat Ambassador Yelnara, formerly a minor representative of the Zephyrian Alliance, now the first alien to serve in humanity's diplomatic corps. Next to her sat Captain Morden, a former council officer who had resigned his commission to join the Earth Defense Force. The galaxy had changed in ways no one could have predicted. Chief Scientist A-Ra Moon watched the ceremony from the science section of the assembly. Around her sat researchers from 12 different species, all working together on projects that were advancing galactic knowledge at an unprecedented rate. Dr. Moon, whispered her Cathari colleague, Dr. Velthorn, the Plasma Fusion Project is exceeding all expectations. Human innovation combined with our theoretical knowledge is producing remarkable results. A-Ra smiled. That's what happens when different species work together instead of hiding from each other. The cooperation hadn't been limited to science. Throughout human space, former enemies were becoming partners and friends. Admiral Byung-ho Choi commanded the first integrated fleet in galactic history. Human ships flew alongside vessels from 18 different species, all united under the banner of the Earth Federation. Admiral, reported his new second-in-command, Commander Zartek of the Vordan. The joint training exercises are complete. Integration between human and alien crews is at 93% efficiency. Excellent, Byung-ho replied. What's the status of our exploration missions? 3 joint expeditions are currently beyond the galactic rim. The Soul's Hope has discovered 2 new habitable worlds. the Unity has made contact with a previously unknown spacefaring species. The exploration missions represented everything the new galaxy stood for. Instead of conquest and control, the Federation focused on discovery and cooperation. Trade Minister Gyu Lim reviewed the latest economic reports from her office in the orbital station above Earth. The numbers were stunning. "Minister," her aide reported, "trade volume has increased by 400% since the Federation was established. Former Council worlds are requesting Federation membership at a rate of 3 per month." The economic transformation had been as dramatic as the military one. Species that had been forced to trade only with Council members suddenly had access to human technology and innovation. The result was prosperity beyond anything the galaxy had ever experienced. "What about the Galactic Council?" Gyu asked. "Their territory has shrunk to less than half its original size. 12 species have left the Council to join us. Only the core Council species remain loyal. The Galactic Council still existed, but it was a shadow of its former power. Supreme Chancellor Vordun ruled over a much smaller territory with much less influence." Captain Hoseok. Kim stood on the bridge of the exploration ship New Horizons, leading humanity's first deep space expedition beyond the galactic rim. His crew included volunteers from 23 different species, all eager to explore the unknown together. "Captain," reported his navigation officer, a brilliant young Velthari named Kyle Nar, "we're approaching the target coordinates. Unknown space lies ahead." Hoseok looked out at the stars that no galactic civilization had ever seen. "Signal to Earth Federation Command. We are entering unexplored space. The next phase of galactic exploration begins now." The message would take months to reach Earth, but Hoseok knew that President Kang and the Federation Assembly would be proud. Humanity had gone from a threatened species to the leaders of galactic exploration in just 1 year. Back on Earth, former enemies were becoming valued citizens. Dr. Velthorn had become one of humanity's leading plasma researchers. Commander. Zartek was training human officers in advanced shield technology. Ambassador Yelnara was helping establish diplomatic relations with dozens of new species. The transformation wasn't limited to individuals. Entire species were changing their relationships with each other. The Cathari Union, once a council stronghold, had become humanity's closest allies after their scientists began working together on energy research. The Vordan Empire had abandoned their military expansion in favor of joint exploration missions with human fleets. Even some former council leaders had recognized the new reality. Admiral Vorthak, the commander who had led the failed invasion of Earth, now served as a military advisor to the Federation. His knowledge of council tactics and technology had proven invaluable in defending new Federation members from council retaliation. "President Kang," Vorthak said during a security briefing, "the council's remaining forces are focused on defense now. They're no longer capable of major offensive operations." "What about their technology development?" President Kang asked. "Stagnant," Vorthak replied. "Without the resources and knowledge from their former territories, council innovation has stopped. Meanwhile, Federation technology advances daily. The truth was evident in every comparison. Council ships still used the same designs they had employed for millennia. Federation ships incorporated innovations from dozens of species, creating vessels more advanced than anything the galaxy had ever seen. The psychological impact was equally important. For thousands of years, galactic species had believed that technological progress was slow and incremental. Humanity had proven that rapid innovation was possible when different minds worked together. Dr. In-Ho Park led a research team that included scientists from 8 different species. Their latest project combined human adaptive technology with alien theoretical knowledge to create the first truly intelligent spacecraft. "The ship can literally think for itself," Dr. In-Ho explained to President Kang during a demonstration. "It adapts to threats, repairs itself, and improves its own performance based on experience." "How long would it have taken the Council to develop such technology?" President Kang asked. "Probably never," Dr. In-Ho replied. "They don't think in terms of adaptive systems. They prefer predictable, controllable technology." The difference in philosophy extended beyond technology to politics and society. The Council ruled through control and fear. The Federation grew through cooperation and voluntary membership. As President Kang finished his speech to the Federation Assembly, he looked out at the diverse faces representing dozens of species and hundreds of worlds. 1 year ago, he concluded, the Galactic Council ordered humanity to surrender. They expected us to submit to their control. Instead, we offered them something better: partnership among equals. The assembly erupted in applause from beings with hands, tentacles, claws, and appendages that had no human names. Today, the Federation spans 200 star systems. We have over 60 member species. Our exploration fleets are discovering new worlds weekly. Our scientists are making breakthroughs that benefit everyone. President Kang paused and smiled. The Council thought they were facing one rebellious species. Instead, they awakened a galaxy full of beings who wanted freedom, cooperation, and the chance to reach for the stars together. In the depths of space, far from any inhabited world, an automated monitoring station detected the approach of Captain Hoseo Kim's exploration fleet. The station immediately transmitted a message back toward Council space. The message was simple: unknown vessels approaching Sector 7. Technology signatures match Earth Federation designs. Recommend immediate alert status. But the station's message was intercepted by Federation sensors before it could reach its destination. The old galaxy of secrets and hidden agendas was ending. The new galaxy valued openness and communication. Commander Zartek, monitoring communications from his post on Admiral Byung-ho's flagship, smiled as he detected the Council monitoring station. "Sir," he reported, "we've found another Council, spy station. Should we disable it?" "No," Admiral Byung-ho replied. "Send them a message instead. Tell them we're explorers, not conquerors. If they want to know what we're doing, they can ask." It was a perfect example of how the Federation operated, differently from the Council. Instead of secrecy and suspicion, they offered openness and cooperation. The intercepted Council transmission reached Supreme Chancellor Vordun's desk 3 days later. He read it with a mixture of fear and fascination. Human ships were exploring. Beyond the galactic rim, species that had never ventured beyond their home systems were now reaching for distant stars. The Federation was growing stronger every day. Vordun looked out at the stars from his office window and wondered if the Council had made the right choice in trying to control humanity. Perhaps they should have offered partnership instead of demanding surrender, but it was too late for such thoughts. The galaxy had chosen its path, and that path led away from Council control toward Federation cooperation. In the end, the Galactic Council had ordered humanity to surrender, and Earth had chuckled. That chuckle had echoed across the galaxy, inspiring countless species to reach for freedom among the stars. The age of Council dominance was over. The age of galactic cooperation had begun.